Welcome back to the LCS Proving Grounds, where we have bangers all day long in the upper bracket. My goodness, what a way to bring in. What's up,
I gotta
Yoshi?
give Smacks a shout out. We are going to a Game 6 Poggers!
Let's
This
go!
is my first time casting more than 4 games throughout
Dude.
Proving Grounds this entire time.
Right? I actually get to do bits. It's crazy.
Woo!
Speaking of bits, we got queue time until we get into game number 3, the final game of the day. So I've got a game called 3 Little Words, and it's where I've chosen some clips. And I have 3 words to attribute to said clip. Now I'm going to say those 3 words. You guys guess what clip it could possibly be. But unfortunately, I actually don't know which clips we have, so I'm just going to try it. So the first one I know we have, the first 3 little words. It's the copy machine malfunction. What do you think it could be? The copy machine malfunction.
Copy machine malfunction.
Copy machine malfunction.
Wait, this is gonna be super embarrassing. Can you explain the game again?
So I am saying 3 little words to
Yes.
explain a clip that I have grabbed. Now you're gonna have to guess what clip that is.
Okay. Well, copy machine malfunction. It has to be copy getting caught out or like trying to go for a play and dying in.
Now, which one do you think it was?
Is it the one where Keel, like, flash when it becomes lightning on him in the mid lane? I think that's the only one that, like, really comes to mind, where it's kind of like...
It was in front of the dragon pit, my friends, as he found himself all alone out there. And a little bit of malfunction, as I want to go ahead and bring up that clip. And he does get run down into the chicken pit, and we'll actually get to see what happened here. Well, it's just a little bit of a fortunate event, but this is kind of what felt like snowballed a lot of AOE GT's wins in terms of map function.
Yeah. And we get to see, right, we talked about it a little bit, if you are having opportunities to go from one side of the fight to the other, go towards the weaker side, crush that first so that you are going back. You gotta defeat in detail is the term that you gotta use. I think that's art. I don't actually think that's Art of War. I think that's like Pompey.
Okay.
Julius Caesar, someone like that. I don't remember exactly, but you gotta kill the weaker parts first before you go for the main force, and that's what we kind of saw coming through here as AGT. Cannot play them, they just run you down.
Exactly that. And speaking of running down, my next clip, the 3 little words, is spinning and winning. What could it possibly be? I feel like this throws it off because there are a lot of moments.
Quadra kill, Garrett. Quadra kill, Garrett. Quadra kill, Garrett. Quadra kill, Garrett.
Yeah, this one.
It's the in-fight kill with the.
Okay.
It's the rundown with the quadra kill from Wixie.
That's right.
We got a little baited here, but there you go. I love the flash ult onto Shaden. Oh, it is.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay.
This isn't the end fight.
Wait, no, it is. Okay, well, we just had some issues.
It looks like it.
I had both of them, right? I had this one, and then I also had the in-fight kill with the quadra kill from Wixie. But yes, this was the rundown from Moose Hater turning into a quadra kill because of that vision game.
Yeah, there you go. Moose Hater just comes in, right? Yeah, Mark talked a lot about how the Ghost comes through, but Moose Hater bring out a lot of unique champions here as well. We have 3 players with crazy champion pools of Moose Hater, Captain Shrimps, and Keel, who all bring something different to the table and what it is that they are able to do. And this time, Moose Hater came up big by pulling out the Garen R5. It's not something you see very often, and it's because the champion is so straightforward. But sometimes straightforward works, especially if your opponent's trying to dance around like KDA Akali.
Yeah, exactly that. I think it's so important to focus that. You brought it up in the cast, Joshi. It was interesting to see AOE GT go this route, but it works out for them. And nice little 3 little words there. Thank you so much for taking some queue time with me. But now we got to hone in back into the series and look at what we can expect for Game 3, because we have had very one-sided affairs for both games already, and kind of walking ourselves back through that, right? We saw Cloud9 kind of flexing their muscles in Game number 1, but I feel like we got the same Joshi in Game number 2 from AOE GT.
Yeah, well, we definitely saw AOE GT really come back with a vengeance, and they really went to keep it simple, stupid. But I also have bad news for Cloud9 fans. The Cloud9 that we just saw is the Cloud9 that was really looking not good during the second round robin, right? When a lot of them were really struggling to make things happen. And we also know that this team has had some internal troubles in the second round robin going into Proving Grounds. I had expected they had solved them, but at least in this game, they definitely did. We talked about how important it is that their jungler Shane has a good first 5 to 10 minutes, helping out Darshan in particular. Sometimes it's Copy in the mid lane. He got 1 assist, and from there, shut down, right? They didn't necessarily go for anything for most of the rest of the game. It felt as though it was always AGT trying to make things happen. And when the jungle shuts down as one of your main go buttons, one of your main playmakers disappears from the map, feels as though Cloud9 just kind of waited to die for a lot of the game.
Yeah, I think it's also very interesting that it was kind of that standard draft from AOE GT, and it was kind of Cloud9 running themselves into it and getting a little bit bloody there, Rafa.
The other thing, too, on the side of AGT that I was impressed with from not only punishing Cloud9 for getting far too over-aggressive, but also just changing up the whole playstyle.
This is what I thought the copy machine function was.
Yeah, me too, when you mentioned it. But this fight, an example, was a huge, moment where AGT just, I don't know how else to explain it, because it wasn't anything like incredibly fancy from Wixie and Duo King. They just believe that, hey, I'm pretty sure we win this fight as long as King can't participate, because it's just 2 tanks trying to lumber at us and get, base damage. But Ashe will be able to outdamage them there, and Cloud9 just overestimated what they could do. And AGT, the fact that they're not playing the compositions that, we as a Proving Grounds tournament audience, not necessarily watching with respect to the rest of Proving Grounds last chance qualifier circuits, we just associate Keel with playing super farm heavy junglers, not necessarily being able to flip the switch and go for, okay, Xin Zhao, someone that is going to be far more proactive. And this changes how AGT want to play things like the mid game, play team fights, who's going first, who's making the engage, who's calling the shots. And when Wixie is given agency, as he's talked about in the interview before, he feels like he not only is the one that has to step up, but also has the confidence to lead his team in the right direction alongside the rest of the experienced members on this team.
And let's talk a bit about expectations again as well, right? Wixie has been talking this big game about how he wants to be one of the best players, one of the teams that actually make it to LCS Studio without coming from the academy side of things. Cloud9 were built to win. They were built to win all of Proving Grounds. And suddenly, you have to have really resilient mental if you're going to be the kind of player who's like, oh, we just lost, we got to be able to bounce back, and there are so much more expectations that we have, and we should be leveraging on the Cloud9 roster. This is a team with Darshan, one of the longest tenured players that we still have playing in the LCS ecosystem. This is King and Destiny, who have gone to Worlds multiple times from the Oceanic region. This is Shaden, one of the biggest rookies that we have. One of these names that has been bouncing around for a long time is like, when is he finally going to have an opportunity to play? And they're losing to Moose Hater, who is playing effectively on his first team, playing for Keel, who wasn't able to continue playing in the academy system, and Captain Shrimps, Duo King, and Wixie, who have had, some opportunities to play in the amateur and academy space, but, to Wixie's credit, he should still be in academy, but he was dropped by a lot of teams. This is wild to see the expectation difference that is coming out and how we should be evaluating these teams. AGT are playing so well against one of the teams that was built to be LCS substitutes.
Yeah, there's a lot of background emotion for a lot of these players as well, right? Like Keel even coming out and tweeting, right? I didn't get to promote or do anything in Blast Proving Grounds, and it was a sore spot for him, and now they're on the verge of, as we had said earlier, making one of the biggest breakthroughs for AM to go to a LAN. It's actually incredible. So the momentum is on AOE GT's side. But Rafa, we got to go back to the conversation of veterancy and trying to pull that mental back together for Cloud9 Academy, because you see when the train starts getting a little rocky, it ends up getting derailed. But in the end, right, they're going to have to put it right back on the track and find a way through.
Yeah, we know that Cloud9 Academy are no strangers to falling or not being able to come back from series if a game loss is so detrimental. And Cloud9 Academy, this is a moment where you have to shrug off the game and just say, hey guys, you know what? Doesn't matter. Like, bad games happen. Just pick up, start afresh, and try to reset mental, right? And we would expect that Cloud9 Academy has the experience to do so. But Cloud9 Academy, the question's not for us, it's on them. And AGT, if they are the ones riding out the momentum, I would even say that they are the ones favored going into this last game.
Well, the question is left to be answered, and we got one game left. Champ Select is ready, so let's find out who books that final ticket here in the upper bracket. Rafa, Joshi, take it away.
Why in for the last time? Well, Mark, we're back on the same sides yet again, and I'm getting a lot of thoughts, a lot of similarities between our first series of the day and our second series, right? Dignitas beat up Team Liquid in Game 1, and Team Liquid just methodically took them down in Game 2. We had Cloud9 strongly taking control of the first game, and then AOE Ginger Turmeric firing back in the second game. Now, we got to see how lazy our script writers are. Did they just copy-paste and do the same thing? Is Cloud9 going to take it away and fulfill the expectations of going to land for the side of Academy? Or is AGT going to be waiting in winners finals as an amateur team?
It's up for these two teams to decide, Josh. We are here just to call the action. We can throw out theories, we can throw out what we expect to see between these two, but, I mean, did you call the Garen pick coming out in Game 2?
No.
I for sure didn't. So
I didn't think so.
Yeah, and well, now here's a change. I don't think we've seen Varus being banned before in the draft phase. So what?
I don't know what that
AGT
enables,
planning?
to be entirely honest.
Yeah.
Like, Varus is a champion that basically only King has pulled out thus far. There's a couple other champions that have been like only King thus far throughout the tournament, and Neela, another one of them. And anybody who says Nyla, go watch your damn video, man. She says her name is the first thing that happens in the video. It's not Nyla, it's Neela. Sorry. Anyway, now as we go back into it, we also have this Varus come through as kind of an odd, like off-the-wall ban. And as the exact same draft is starting to unfold for AGT, again, this is a composition that can be very hard to outplay if it ever gets ahead. Cloud9, they need more of a front line. Asher's only okay in terms of her ability to bust tanks. You really need something that will allow Poppy and King to stand and deliver, and only Poppy is probably not going to be enough.
I think what AOE Ginger Turmeric were reading is that King was not looking comfortable on the Callista, at least into what AOE Ginger Turmeric drafted, and so they were thinking, okay, well, what is King most likely going to go to next? And they just sniped out the Varus. Cloud9 Academy are going the Xayah and the Rakan route instead, which means that King, when it comes to self-peel, he's got all the tools necessary, but he is playing for himself, and the rest of Cloud9 Academy are going to be busy going all in.
Yeah. And we see, again, a very similar draft coming out from AGT. This is really them looking to say, we're going to outplay you once, and then we're going to be impossible to deal with. But there's more outplay opportunities coming in for Cloud9 than they had previously, right? Callista didn't have a lot of opportunities to play into the Orianna, into the Ashe. You're outranged and you're slow, so you can't do nearly as much. But the Xayah doesn't care about that nearly as much. And Destiny, was champion isn't as easy to engage as just pressing R like you see on Nautilus. Can build a huge opportunity to charm multiple people and get a ton of damage coming through for Cloud9. But that also means that Poppy, he has to play something that's gonna, bam, bring down the hammer as soon as Destiny goes in.
AOE Ginger Turmeric already banning one mage away from copy. Victor could be another champion. LeBlanc, I think, was the last ban that they had in Game 2. They're looking preemptively at the Gwen. The Gwen, I think the Fiora ban gave them a little tip-off that was something that Darshan wanted to lean towards for the final round.
Yeah, we have to remember that when I think of champions that Darshan plays, the last champion you always got to think of is his Gnar, right? Double the number of games on this champion as he has played on anything else. It's the Garen. I told Joey, I told our producer, don't think it's likely to be coming through. And Mooshater has a lot of other things that are still in his back pocket that he can always bring out. There are so many opportunities, but okay, Wixie. Now going to be on the Ezreal. It is going to be dual king here on the Ashe. And again, this allows Wixie to have so much freedom in the way that he likes to move around the fight. He's going to be able to dodge away from things like the quickness and the grand entrance.
Yep.
He's not going to be stopped up by the steadfast presence coming in from Poppy. And so Cloud9, they now need to find their way onto Wixie. And this champion, if you are able to be aggressive on it, if you are always on the right page on this Ezreal, there are few champions that actually do as much damage as this one. So, Copy can be Azir. This is someone that will, in fact, be able to do a ton of damage if Destiny can set him up.
And you saw that Cloud9 Academy, whether the hover was a bait or not, they immediately trying to react to the Ezreal. Guys, we don't have guaranteed lockdown because Wixie can always arcane shift away from Poppy's grasp, from Azir's grasp, from Rakan's grasp. They thought about the Camille, but it would be a blind pick, and they don't feel confident in picking something for Darshan because you're going up against Moose Hater. If this guy pulled out Garen, who knows what else he can reach into his pockets and see what the Champion Ocean is going to give him as an answer to the Camille. So they go with as safe of a blind pick as they can. They look for Sejuani. What does Moose Hater use as his counter pick response?
Yes!
Trundle top! Yes! Oh my god!
Oh, I love it. Thank you, Moose Hater, for bringing it out. We were looking for the spicy pick to come out for AGT. You got Captain Shrimps on the Orianna, you got Keel on the Xin Zhao. What spicy thing are they bringing out? And it is Trundle. Guys, I don't know why this champion hasn't been seeing play, but going into a composition like this one, you need a couple of things. One, you recognize that it's effectively, it's double frontline, but it's mostly single frontline to Sejuani. Sejuani is going to be the true tank on your team, and Moose Hater shreds it. He becomes a tank and a half all by himself, especially when paired up with Keel. But he also just wins this matchup incredibly hard up in the top lane.
And this 2v2 is even worse for Cloud9 Academy too.
And this composition that AGT have built for themselves, if it gets ahead, if it finds that entry into the game, they just roll you over. There's not a whole lot of opportunities here for Cloud9 to try and turn things around if AGT start getting ahead. But the one player who can do it, there's only one, Copy.
Yep.
Copy. Johan is now the player who needs to turn things around. He has the Emperor's Divide, and you know what Xin Zhao and Trundle hate? Terrain. They can't go around it. They have to flash over it. And so Copy is the one player who has the engage tools, who has the damage, who has the ability to stop Trundle from getting in and just do DPS across the entire fight. Cloud9 are really in a position where Darshan, it looks like his confidence is shaking. He's going with Sejuani. This is not a lane dominant champion. He's just trying to make sure that he is not going to be a liability this game.
And that Cloud9 Academy have follow-up engage. They cannot be limited on engage tools. This is it. Game 3 is coming your way, ladies and gentlemen, and the stakes on the line. A trip to Los Angeles to play on the LCS stage during Proving Grounds Finals Week and guaranteed in the top 4. For Cloud9 Academy, it would be their first appearance at Proving Grounds in a live setting, but for AGT, not only their first live appearance, but also the first time an amateur team has ever been in a live Proving Grounds event.
Oh, Destiny, you're on a word. Just wanted to let you know. But we also have to
I don't think he can hear you, Josh.
Well, unlucky. I thought we were directly piped into all of their headsets.
Could you imagine if we were?
That would be awful. I would hate to be one of the players if that was actually the case. But Destiny, gonna get attacked here in just a moment. His back will be stopped, but he can just brand entrance out. He should be totally fine. Yeah.
A little bit of a nuisance to be stalled on the recall. He's going to be late to the first wave, but Wixie and Duo King will... I don't know how much of a strong advantage they're going to get off of that.
It's nice. But one of the big things that I want to look at, Mark, real quick, is we do see that AGT will be going down to the bottom lane. They are going to be playing this Imperial Mandate Ashe for sure. But it's the legacy that Cloud9 Academy have had. If you look at their tournament results, they got first in almost everything between 2018 summer and 2021 spring, right? They got second in the 21 spring Proving Grounds. But ever since then, they haven't necessarily had the same kind of success in bracket. They got second in summer playoffs. They got second in 22 spring. They got third in 22 summer. But when it comes to the bracket, this is one of the better performances we've had really recently because they got fifth in spring. They got seventh in summer. And this is kind of their opportunity to showcase that they are more, that they are trying to return the legacy of Cloud9 Academy.
And they have the players to do so. They have the roster built up for those expectations. We know that from just everything that was built on paper. But AOE Ginger Turmeric being able to dismantle them in Game 2 is a surprise to all. Maybe not the AOE
Maybe not
Ginger
AGT.
Turmeric.
Akash is probably tweeting about it.
It's like, why do you guys continue downing us? Like, do you guys
why do you guys think we're bad? No, we just think Cloud9 is really good.
Okay. Yeah, it's... Listen, it's the it's the narrative, man. The academy versus the amateur squads. But the way that AOE Ginger Turmeric played in Game 2, a far cry from Game 1, where Cloud9 understood how to play against Kill, and when it comes to champions like Karthus and Fiddlesticks, and Kill said, okay, fine, I'm playing Xin Zhao. You no longer get any mileage about invading me. I have to do other things proactive on the map.
Yeah. I also really love the way that we've been seeing Moosehater actually play, right? Just he's doing the jiggle, is what I like to call it. Whenever you see top laners or mid laners, basically anybody kind of do the back and forth, you click on the left side of your champion, and the right side is like, oh, am I going to hit you? Am I going to hit you? Moosehater is so good at that every single time I take a look at his lane. But now Shaden, his lane does not have priority and misses the heroic charge on the stun. AGT's not coming up.
Just chilling in the bot lane. We're concerned about the farm. I'll once again have to go back and praise AGT's flexibility in drafting. I mean, we're already hyped about the Trundle pick, but also the fact that Duo King was able to take the Ashe as a support. I know that's not as uncommon, you know, for both Academy and amateur teams, but being able to dodge out on a Xayah Rakan lane, which would have been so detrimental for normally an Ashe, who has no escape outside of Flash, Ezreal, you get to keep yourself at a range distance with Arcane Shift.
Yeah. Also, Keel is spotted down here in the bottom lane as they do hang it out. And remember, Cloud9's early games have been well planned out. Shaden going top lane up against Moosehater's Fiora. Going mid lane, bringing so many players to take down Captain Shrimp. So this is the first time that Cloud9 have not done anything this far into the game. Shaden going for a full clear. He does, in fact, pick up the bottom side Scuttle Crab. But I don't want to be a doomsayer just quite yet, but it feels as though some of their confidence again has been shaken. And if Shaden doesn't have at least a kill or 2 assists by the 10-minute mark, it really makes me worry about the ability for Cloud9 to continue playing. We know that there were issues for them previously, but they kind of shut down as a team, and a lot of that comes due to the fact that Shaden has been such a huge playmaker, has been so good at enabling Darshan up in the top lane, but he's on Shizwani now. Who cares if you get him ahead?
Yeah, you don't necessarily want to play for the top side of the map. Shaden is here, but Kill is also. And we talked about the 2v2 is awful for Darshan and Shaden. Now, Moosehater gets to sap AD from any champion that he chooses with Chomp, and Kill is just a straight-up better bruiser. Overall, it will output a lot more damage, and as long as they're not against any walls, Shaden will not find a majority of his burst. So trying to shut down this Trundle is going to be far more difficult than maybe it is worth from Shaden, and has to focus his efforts through mid lane from Copy or through the bottom side in King and Destiny.
So we will be paying attention to how well all these lanes are doing. To Darshan's credit, he is still doing quite well in this very tough matchup for the Sejuani. He has no Ignite, right? He doesn't have the same kind of kill threat.
Oh god. Oh, he interrupts, knowing the Arctic Assault was going to come out, preemptively flashing! And that trades flashes both from Darshan and Moosehater. And that was before level 6, Josh. So the next time around, Moosehater, he'll have Subjugate. But Shaden, as we said, don't focus the top lane, focus the mid lane or the bottom lane of the map. And then you look for a play onto Captain Shrimps. Copy, scopes him over to the wall. Oh, no! Copy! Oh, the play! In theory, it's great, but unfortunately, the push is a little too far close to the wall, and it saves Captain Shrimps over the other side.
Wild stuff coming through. That is twice he gets away. And Keel, one more.
He's gonna flash out. The Copy has Shifting Sands available, so unfortunately for Keel, that flash is not well spent, but it does force him off the wave temporarily.
Yeah, Shaden uses a flash, but he's got Hex Flash. Copy is able to get out without using his own, and Duo King.
Okay, and Flash from King trying to jump onto Duo King, knowing that Duo King is the only one that cannot escape a full all-in from Xayah and Rakan. That is 2 summoner spells down from the support of AGT.
Yeah, Duo King going to be a target for Cloud9 for a little while longer, right? But so far, it feels as though Cloud9, even though they're down a little bit in gold, are doing a decent job in their lanes. And this is something we should be expecting from them, right? Johan, Copy in the mid lane, was one of the better laners that we had in spring. King and Destiny, again, a bottom lane that has been world class for years in their ability to actually play, in their ability to consistently go to international events. Wixie and Duo King, they're doing a great job actually stifling them. This Ezreal Ashe, like you called out, able to do a ton of poke damage, especially to Destiny's Rakan. And now as they shift towards the top side of the map, alright. Well, I know that our top laner, Mike, would have been like, what is this guy doing?
I can't say
He wouldn't have been that polite about it.
No. There's far worse things that he would have said. Anyway, AGT, they are able to escape from the engage attempt from Darshan. Duo King is here to pick up the wave for now. But Cloud9 going to expend a lot of their resources shifting the bottom lane over to the top side of the map so they can guarantee this Rift Herald over in their pockets. And this will give them the opportunity to continue shooting up gold in their pockets. They just want to be able to just get the stonks rolling.
Yeah. Duo King should be fine, right? Darshan has no ultimate here, but AGT, they're trying to get a trade on the map. It's a lot harder to kill these dragons than it used to be 12-12 and before, but AGT, they will have to give it up, and so Cloud9! So far, the macro of the Academy squad has allowed them to get multiple objectives. They get the Rift Herald, they get the first dragon, but Cloud9 do need to be a little bit careful because it's such a narrow margin, right, that their composition will be able to be stronger, right? If AGT get ahead, they have so much chase down, right? You have the arrows, you have the slows, and now Moose Hater might be caught a little bit, but I don't know if they have the damage to kill him.
Does he have Subjugate available? He does. So he can always subjugate at least one of them and gain resistances, but he doesn't have Flash, so he won't be able to get out of the feathers as easily. So King should be able to line them up. He's going to maximize as much feathers as he can before using the Blade Caller, and Moose Hater finally goes down. You know, it looked close, but it was just a long grind. First blood over to King, and now the repeat gank onto Captain Shrimps. No Flash available for this Orianna. Just one more auto attack. It is the soldiers swooping on in. 2 on the board for Cloud9.
Cloud9 coming alive at the right time, right? They pick up Moose Hater, they pick up Captain Shrimps. The solo laners with no flashes get attacked. And so now Cloud9, with a little bit of extra gold in their pockets, making up for some of the advantages that AGT were able to pick up early on in the game. This is not necessarily something that's going to result in them getting a ton more gold. They're only now, again, coming even across the play. In the AGT, we get to see glimpses of why this competition is going to be so difficult for them to play against. It's going to be coming online very soon for multiple members. We still don't have Ezreal on 2 items. We still don't have Ashe with the Imperial Mandate. These aren't real champions at Cloud9. They've gotten a little bit, but they're only back to even.
And you can't just be even with this composition because you know that the scaling potential from Ezreal and Orianna is going to be very, very terrifying the later the game goes on. And it's just harder to get on top of at least Wixie the later the game goes on. So much ability haste means that his Arcane Shift feels like it is never off cooldown. Whoa!
Whoa! Thought a dive was coming through. Yeah. I mean, that was cross-map, right?
Mm-hmm. I always forget how fast the arrow ramps up in speed and velocity. Yeah. It is. It's scary.
Yeah, it's fast. So, AGT, they're still doing a pretty decent job. The game has not yet broken open either way. And Copy, while he had a bit of a tragic first Emperor's Divide, his second one was able to pick up a kill for himself. And Shaden, he's only got 1 assist, and we are past the 10-minute mark.
And just as talking about the Emperor's Divide, he swoops on in, makes a fantastic play. It seemed like Captain Shrimps' flash cooldown was just coming off cooldown, and Copy, knowing the timer well enough, makes the play happen alongside Destiny.
Copy looks mad, right? The way that he's playing, he's like, I'm just going to go. You guys need to come to my lane. I just need a little bit of help in order to find these kills. And there they go. They find Captain Shrimps again. And as they crash the Herald, it's a bunch of money going over to Copy. Shaden can try and go for a dive as another arrow sails by from the bottom lane. The Cloud9, they're finally opening the game a little bit. 1,000 gold in their advantage. It's mostly concentrated on the one person I feel like it needs to be. Azir can do so much work this game. He's already got most of the gold that he needs. He's got the 2 kills, he's got 20 CS up. And now, as we start to see Ezreal and Ashe come online relatively soon, he needs to continue looking for these plays. He can't afford to let the game just chill out for a long time. What is this teleport? Oh, bottom lane, I guess.
I guess there was a big enough minion wave that Moose Hater did not want it let, you know, He didn't want it
Let it go.
to be lost to the tower.
You gotta eat it. Gotta eat up all those minions so you can grow up to be big and strong. Has almost got the Blade the Roan King completed so that he can start chomping away, relying a lot on the Subjugate that he's going to be throwing down on Darshan to keep himself alive in upcoming team fights. He's not there just quite yet, and with a minute left until the next Dragon Mark, we gotta look back at how AGT and Cloud9 have been setting up. And both of them have been showing up at about the same time throughout most of this series. They've been lining up on opposite sides of the dragon and then kind of poking at each other. And I gotta be real, if I'm just gonna be doing that, I will generally favor the team that has an Ezreal on their team because he's got a lot more range. You got the Ashe, you just throw it out. It's hard to miss that skill shot unless you're too short with it.
Nice control ward spotting from Moose Hater. Knows that Shaden was looping around, ready to make a 3-man dive play onto the Trundle. Is able to slink on out without any further collateral damage. It's going to be a 3-man dive, or at least pressure point from AGT onto Darshan. Already the flash is forced out. Crystal Enchanted Arrow stuns him down. No Glacial Prison quite available from Darshan, but it's a traded kill onto Wixie, and that is huge, considering that that is the carry that you want having all the gold for the plates.
Run! Troops! Okay, he's fine. Yeah, they fixed the bug where the turrets weren't doing enough damage, and that's the difference there from Wix. He ends up going down to the last turret shot, and Copy yet again finding another advantage. He picks up the mid lane turrets. Already got the Leandres. He can chew through. Moose Hater doesn't have that much HP. All the resistances he will still be armored. So Cloud9, they're doing a great job bouncing back, and so much of it. Oh my god!
And Shrimps! He still has flash available, and he's trying to walk it on out, finally flashing away at the Leandre Storm and burning down. Oh, man! Did not expect Copy to be able to put out that much damage in that rotation, but Copy is not letting Cloud9 Academy go down to the lower bracket if he has any say about it.
Yeah, he's been doing such a good job, and now they're collapsing bottom lane as well.
Moose Hater on the run. Flash has already been used. Great quickness and grand entrance locks up the Trundle. Cloud9 Academy are rolling this game. 15 minutes, 20 seconds away, and it's a 4,000 gold advantage. The first two dragons being locked down by Cloud9 as well. I mean, this is a fantastic early mid game, and it's very reminiscent of what we saw in game 1 of this series.
Yeah, and so now we got to look at AGT. How do they fix this situation? It's going to be largely on Wixie, right? The revenge tour that he's been having, taking down 100 Thieves, going up against Cloud9. He's basically like the one member that's not behind. I guess Keel is also not behind, but Keel does not do enough damage to win the fight all on his own. Wixie has the range where he might be able to do something in these fights because he's difficult to actually get on top of him. So, Michael Fernandez, you got to take an opportunity to step up. You got to find a little bit more gold for yourself. But as the rest of the map starts to collapse around him, it feels as though the walls are closing in, Mark.
Not the walls.
Not the walls, it's the walls. Mikey Love. In Wide Wixie, we trust.
In Wide Wixie, we trust. Well, there's no dragon to trade on the other side of the map for AGT. Oh, Captain Shrimp. No, 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 no! There's no flash available. He's good as gone. Glacial Prison is finally expended. They maximized the CC that they had available. And AGT, and that play is just unfortunate timing. Oh, no, 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 Keel! Keel! What is happening? Crescent Guard is going to buy a little bit of time, but do Wixie and Doking have any damage to fight back at this front line? What is happening? I don't know, but Cloud9 Academy, they're not questioning it. They are taking any opportunity that they get.
And they're going to be fighting so much, right? They're just picking member after member after member. Captain Shrimps just gets caught out. He doesn't have the flash. He doesn't have the damage to really do anything. Heel gets caught next, and again, they're trying to make a play very quickly, but the window is so small as Cloud9 instantly rotate on them, and so far, we're seeing absolute dominance coming through from Cloud9 in Game 3, not allowing anybody to come back. And Strip Riders, we got it yet again, right? Dignitas win Game 1, Team Liquid Game 2. Cloud9 rolling through as the Dignitas impersonators, the Dignitas cosplayers here in the last game. They are controlling everything, and just like the mid laner for Insanity was looking so good, yo, Johan, it's your turn. You're looking pretty hot today, brother. Every single time taking down Captain Shrimps. I think it's 2 solo kills, or 2 at least effective solo kills, right? Even if he had some help.
Copy is making the statement this game. King and Destiny to their own own credit as well. Oh no. Moose Hater has no flash, has Subjugate. Oh no. once again, he finds himself surrounded by very angry Cloud9 Academy's players here. They were not happy about the way Game 2 came about and was manifested by AOE Ginger Turmeric, but they have spun around, and we had questions, we had concerns about whether they would be able to have the mental fortitude to bounce back, because we have seen it be damning to them before. But man, oh man, I mean, this quells any doubts that we've had from before.
Yeah, I mean, they're just playing, again, a very simple game plan. They're like, we are going to goon squad, we're going to group up, we're going to find people over and over. It's like, hey, does that guy look too far to you? Yep, let's go get him. And it's just working every single time. AGT are once again in a position where it doesn't feel as though they have ways back in. Now, at least Captain Shrimps will scale, unlike the Zed he was playing earlier.
And Keel finds himself in a jungle that no longer belongs to him. Unfortunately, this is the part of the game where you have to walk with friends, where you have to walk with teammates before you can fight for control in the jungle pit. Captain Shrimps looking to collapse, everyone dispersing away from the shockwave. It only lands onto the frontline members, but King is still unthreatened in the backline. They line up Moose Hater. Moose Hater doesn't get to do anything in the fight. Copy's not even there, and now he's coming in a second win. So if AGT push on forward, you know Copy is going to look for the Shurima shuffle. Duo King gets punished for the overextension. Kale is swept up in the fight, and yes, Cloud9 Academy do continue pushing forward in the fight. Wixie trying to fight on back, but it's a quadra kill for King instead.
Easily finding that one coming through. Cloud9 just have so much more money coming out than AGT, and there's just no damage coming out from AGT, right? Wixie, Duo King, Captain Shrimps, they basically all find this pocket where they can do as much as they want, but as much as they want just still isn't enough. Only Duo King getting caught out here by the Shuriman Shuffle, and it still doesn't matter, right? They are wailing away on Copy, and he takes half of his HP. Whoop-de-doo. AGT are so far behind, and Michael Fernandez, again, trying to make these plays happen, just gets blowed up by everybody on Cloud9.
This time around in Game 3, King and Copy reaped the benefits of advantageous picks. And Duo King, my friend... Oh, wait a minute. Does he actually out? Oh, kill gets denied! Man, the steadfast presence from Shaden denies kill from being able to counter gank. Moose Hater is also on the flank, but I don't even know how tanky this Trundle is. Throws out the Subjugate, is forced to onto Copy just because he knows he would have been absolutely shredded to bits. Cloud9 Academy find themselves in complete control of the map. This is the third Dragon of the game, putting them at sole point, and what I believe could be the very last domino to knock down before AGT are sent to the lower bracket.
What a wild day we've had today, Mark. Dignitas taking down Team Liquid, the #1 team that we were expecting coming into this Proving Grounds. Cloud9 having a really uncharacteristic game where they just got blasted by AGT, only to turn around and blast them right back. AGT, again, coming so close to actually having this whole tour of going all the way to Winners Finals. But Cloud9, unless a miracle happens for AGT, there's not really a way for them to do anything proactive. Captain Shrimps is too far behind. Wixie still doesn't have his Muramana completed. It's 21 minutes into the game, Mark.
Duo King is forced to use the arrow, only to get taken out by Darshan on the right flank. King adding his 9th kill to the kill board. And Cloud9 Academy, they're getting ready to set up the Baron. They have full vision, full knowledge of the entire red quadrant jungle from AGT. If Keel steps in, which he already has, Cloud9 Academy already know, and they're just going to be waiting to dogpile right on top of them. And Cloud9 Academy now know there's no jungler to threaten a smite. It's only a true shot barrage that maybe Wixie can throw out, but it's on cooldown, so Cloud9 Academy, they get this Baron.
They get the Baron. They are poised to take everything off the map. There's no real threat coming out from AGT. They have no one who can start the fight in a way that'll allow them to get to the backline. They have no way to get to Copy and King, right? 10 kills already coming out for the Oceanic Worlds representative for multiple years. He had an opportunity to where he wasn't even scrimming with Cloud9 earlier, right? He wasn't playing in spring as they were scrimming with Ven most of the time. And so, as we're starting to see, King, he's coming back with a vengeance, really taking over a lot of this game. And Moose Hater struggling to find his way in. Garen looked so good. We were so excited for the Trundle. And I feel as though, you know, teams should still be looking to pick this champion. But unfortunately, Cloud9 have attacked every single lane. There's nothing for AGT to really fall back to.
Yeah.
And they need to find miracles. They need to find huge opportunities. There's only one item on most of their members, whereas a lot of Cloud9 members are finishing their third.
And the Cloud9 Academy just adapted insanely well to the Trundle pick. They recognized that Darshan was not having a great time in lane, and Shaden and Darshan would not win the 2v2 against Kill and Moose Hater. So why not just rotate the bottom lane on over to the top side of the map, force Moose Hater to swap on over, or you just face the wrath of a 1v2 bot lane, or having to go up against King in a solo lane matchup.
Yep.
That's not really fun for Trundle. And we never got to see this Trundle win con really get rolling. He's supposed to split push. He's not supposed to be frontlining for the team. He wants to be taking down turrets. Yes, he can subjugate a tank, but with the build that he is so squishy.
Yeah, he can't frontline, as you already called out. He has to be in a side lane in order for this build to really make sense. And, you know, you can't frontline for the team either, right? You have nobody to frontline for who's going to be doing the damage, as we already looked at. There's nothing here. And so it feels as though a lot of these players, while they've done an admirable job taking down the second seed,
He melts!
it looks to be, yeah.
Like,
This is where their upper bracket run is going to end.
Cloud9 Academy. Unless Froggen comes in and intervenes, they make one last push into AGT's base. And so far, it has been diffused. King is forced to use the Featherstorm. Shaden taking a lot of poke damage from Wixie on the backside. Copy comes in, silences any concerns that might have been had, and suddenly the front line from AGT is disintegrated. Copy swoops in once again. It has been Copy all game, all day. It doesn't even go down. A quadra for Copy. Both Copy and King racking up quadra kills in Game 3 alone. The main backliners, the main damage dealers for Cloud9 Academy stepping up big time to secure their spot in top 4 at the Proving Grounds Finals Week live at the LCS studio.
Yeah, as they go for the completionist run, picking up the inhib before they take down the Nexus, it just feels as though the one thing I've learned about Cloud9 is don't make Copy mad, man. He is going to be a monster dismantling Captain Shrimps in the mid lane this time around. And it was such a wild game, right? We saw the very first time when we saw AGT coming around when Cloud9 gave Wixie a triple kill and they were able to carry it out from there. I was like, okay, AGT can actually do this. I actually said to Joey, I feel as though AGT might be favored going into our third game. But Cloud9, nah. They were never going to be letting that one go. Copy just said, I'm better. I'm going to be taking down Captain Shrimps. I'm going to show why I've been on the Academy roster this whole time and taking them down. And so Cloud9 now going to be in the upper bracket finals. But AGT, this isn't the end of their Proving Ground story. They still have more games to play down in the lower bracket. They can still make it to the LCS top 4.
And they can
LCS Studio top 4.
That's right. And they can still be the first amateur team to ever attend a live Proving Grounds event, as they are our only amateur team left in the bracket so far. They may be sent down to the lower bracket, but we also have tough opponents waiting there for them. So the challenge is not going to let up. But for Cloud9 Academy, they have booked themselves to LA, and we'll be seeing them in person 2 weeks from now. But for us, the broadcast is not over. We still have an interview with Cloud9 Academy after this break.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here with the Verizon post-game interview, and I'm joined by the ADC of Cloud9 Academy after securing an upper bracket final, at least, appearance. King, my man, your sick glasses, the sick gameplay. You come out, you smash game number 1, you lose a disheartening game number 2. How do you come back into it in game number 3 and absolutely, as you had said before the interview started, pull off the weights?
Yeah, so I think I think through game 1, right, I think we showed that we're like just the better individual players. And I really felt like there's no way we can lose to these guys. But in game 2, I think we made 2 really big mistakes, like the when we died to Xin in the bot jungle, plus when we gave Wixie a triple kill for fun. I just felt like both those mistakes were like also like unforced errors, right? It's like we're we're losing to ourselves. So it's just game 3. It's like, guys, like these guys aren't better than us. You know, we could just don't into a win.
That's it, easy. Were you the one giving the motivational speech then? Who pulled back the mental for game 2?
Nah, I mean, honestly, I think we were all a bit rattled after the second game, but I don't think anyone really said anything. It's just we all sort of knew, you know.
Yeah. I will say, you guys got some angry gameplay there. It was very evident. I think Copy, especially at the mid lane, man, he did not want
Yep.
to lose this last game. What has been the biggest thing you personally, King, have worked on coming into this matchup, and especially, in Proving Grounds preparation?
I think the biggest thing that, or just more so the team has been working on is just like playing around like map movements. Like,
Okay.
I think in the past, especially last year, like everyone would play, especially last split as well. Everyone just sit in their own lanes and not really do anything, not really like play for objectives. But now we're definitely being more proactive, moving around the map and stuff like that. Like I think we're
Okay.
much more willing to help each other than be selfish and just like sit in lane and get 6 CS every 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'd say that communication is important. Speaking of that communication, right? You guys have such a mix of veteran presence plus some rookie talent, right, or up and coming talent. In all actuality, have you guys changed the communication structure or how you guys approach strategic calls coming into Proving Grounds?
Yeah, I think definitely recently, or this split specifically, I've started putting more of a priority or like a higher value on like just communicating in general. I
Mm,
think previously in the past, especially last year, last split as well, it's like people were just definitely in the like the train of thought where it's like you don't need to communicate if you know what you're doing, right? But I feel like there's no harm in like ever saying stuff. So I think we've been putting a high emphasis on actually just like letting your teammates know your ideas, if you like what you can do and stuff, instead of just like staying quiet. I think we talk a lot more now than we used to. And yeah, I do think the more veteran players of the team are leading that, like me, Destiny, and Deshaun. I think Copy
yeah.
and Shaden are still working on it.
Gotta temper the aggression sometimes, make sure everybody's communicating. I think it's so important when especially you're making a run like this in the upper bracket. I know you mentioned Wixie earlier, kind of giving them that triple kill early on in game number 2, but going against an ADC who by the community is lauded in his own right, and you guys came out and made a statement not only in game 1 but to finish it off in game 3. How is it like facing up against Wixie?
I think Wixie is definitely not a bad player. I mean, obviously I lost to him last split in
Hmm.
the Proving Grounds lower bracket actually, 200 Thieves when he's 100 Thieves. So yeah, I think he's definitely not a bad player, but no, I think he still has a lot to work on. And I think, yeah, I mean, yeah, he's not bad, but yeah, there's better.
Now, you flashed for a quadra kill in game number 3. What was it personal, man? You just had to make that statement, get in there, or what was it?
Nah, I mean, I'm just getting hyped, I mean, I remember a very, my most memorable play of my career probably happened in the exact same area of the map, the top jungle, and I was at Worlds 2019 on Mammoth. So yeah, I was just sort of getting like that, that flashback, that deja vu.
Let's go. Oh, I love those moments. We're not going to shout out Shaden in that one either. His
Yeah.
flash did go on cooldown, though. Now, you will be in the upper bracket finals here against Dignitas Academy, who recently beat Team Liquid Honda Academy. Do you have any thoughts going into the Dignitas matchup or anything along those lines?
I think they're a surprisingly good team, despite having a bit of roster changes in their top jungle and AD. But honestly, I think those players are stronger than their like previous counterparts. So like, it's not a surprise they're doing so well, right? I think Insanity's playing really well right now. I
Hmm.
think Neo and JJ are actually quite good. Gams is holding down the fort in top lane. I think Perry's actually like improved quite a lot since like when he first started playing. So yeah, I think they're actually like going into today as well. I actually did think Dignitas would beat TL. So
Okay.
I think they're quite a strong team. They're definitely the strongest team other than us. So yeah, I think it'll be
Hey,
exciting.
I'm all ready for it, man. I want to give you one last little bit. Give any shout outs, anybody you want to talk about before we let you go.
I just want to shout out Winston, AOE Winnie. He's you can just follow your dreams, man. You're gonna make it one day.
Appreciate you so much, King. A king as always. Have a wonderful evening and get ready for that upper bracket finals.
You too. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to bring back Rafa and Joshi and my pirate producer as we're going to finish out the day here and getting to hear some wise words from King Joshi. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, King's very well-spoken guy every single time, and You know, what we saw in the games that Cloud9 won was absolute dominance, right? There was not a whole lot of opportunity for AGT to come back in either of those games, and that's legitimately how I was expecting kind of the entire series to go. But the fact that we saw AGT fire back, and as King said, make Cloud9 making a couple of unforced errors, does give some hope, right? These guys, as strong as they are not untouchable for all of the amateur teams. You just got to make sure that you're able to fire back when the opportunity actually presents itself. And you know, I do want to take a moment to praise how well AGT have done, taking down 100 Thieves, the number 2 seed, taking down Immortals immediately after that, and pushing Cloud9 Academy to 3 games. I feel as though they've taken some of our best Academy talent thus far, and really showcase that a lot of amateur players have a lot of opportunity to continue growing, have opportunity to challenge some of our best teams, and hopefully we can still find a couple of wins from them going through the rest of the tournament. Maybe they actually will be able to make their way towards the top 4.
We got the counter still running. We got to keep those wins going, all right?
They're at
But we
9.
do have to recap today. We did have a very long day. Thank you to everybody that's been sticking around. Went the full 6-game Poggers. Dignitas Academy coming up with a 2-1 victory over Team Liquid Honda Academy earlier on. And then AOE Ginger Turmeric falling to Cloud9's resurgence in the second series. And I want to go ahead and bring up the bracket here to show how that is going to be breaking down, and especially highlighting, right, the Dignitas Cloud9 Academy upper bracket finals, Rafa. It is going to be so much fun.
And it's a series that we did not expect to happen. I mean, we had expectations that Cloud9 Academy would be coming to the upper bracket final, but Dignitas, I mean, we are still reeling from that impressive series win from this squad. I mean, we cannot say it enough times. I mean, this is a roster that, like, what, their 6th iteration coming in after the last week of Academy regular season, going into Proving Grounds, and they have found a system that works against the expected best team in the Proving Grounds tournament from Team Liquid Honda. But I know that when Team Liquid Academy takes losses, they take it hard, but they bounce back stronger than ever. So not only am I expected for the upper bracket and how that pans out between Dignitas Academy and Cloud9 Academy, but now for the lower bracket gauntlet for teams like Team Liquid Academy, who now anyone that has to go up against them, I feel sorry for, because if you thought Team Liquid Academy was a good team, wait till you see when they're angry, because then that is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, speaking of angry gameplay, right? Like, any one of these teams that are supposed to be at the top of the table, right? You expect them to bite back if they do get put down. And I think, especially Joshi, getting to see now the epic runs that are at least possible in the lower bracket, and I think especially talking a little bit more about 100 Thieves and, you know, Team Liquid Honda, but now especially AOE Ginger Turmeric waiting right there for the winner of 100 Thieves Academy and FlyQuest Academy.
Yeah. So we got some wild storylines that are going to be coming up, right? The winners here will make their way into top 6, but you need to be top 4 in order to actually go to the LCS studio. And CLG Academy and Immortals Progressive, they're both teams that need to find a surge at the right time. And man, does it feel bad that you're going to be going up against Team Liquid to even go to the LCS studio in the first place. But I am really excited for FlyQuest versus 100 Thieves Academy. FlyQuest is a team that is surging at the right time, right? They are really coming together. Some of the players that we were really worried about actually having opportunities to showcase themselves in Proving Grounds have figured out, they've solved a lot of their issues that they had earlier in the season and are coming together, and they're going up against 100 Thieves who are already in the lower bracket. This is something that I think FlyQuest can actually win. But 100 Thieves win, they get a rematch going up against AGT, the first match that they actually played that knocked them down into the lower bracket in the first place. It's rare that we get double jeopardy coming through in a bracket, but this might be the opportunity.
Oh man, the storylines. Could you imagine? AOE Ginger Turmeric beats them there, they get the double win over 100 Thieves, then they go on to the redemption arc. Oh my goodness, the stories write themselves.
The flip side would be just as exciting as well. 100 Thieves Academy ramping up in the lower bracket after taking out Evil Geniuses Academy, get a chance to, assuming they take out FlyQuest Academy, assuming then
Assuming.
they have the chance to redeem themselves after falling to AOE Ginger Turmeric and to learn from, you know, the mistakes that they made, underestimating the playstyle that AGT played around in, you know. But that is, once again, assuming that FlyQuest don't beat them. And
exactly.
FlyQuest have good looks as well, and players that we are excited to see as well. We've been touting Yuji as one of the most slept on, probably the best rookie jungle that we have here in Academy, just overall being able to play through his lanes, understand how his laners need to be unlocked and facilitated. Coming from Mongolia, our only pro player that is from that country in the first place.
Yep, it's exciting stuff, and I'm so excited to see it pan out tomorrow as the lower bracket will continue. But that'll be it from us here today. I want to thank Joshi and Rafa here for tuning in all day, being here all day, a long day. Captain Flowers coming in clutch with the Scarter color cast. Thank you so much, Cap, for being a part of the AM scene. If you're not following, please go follow at Path to LCS. I'm gonna give a huge shout out to our producers for everything, rolling with the punches all day long, making us look decent on screen. It's always a pleasure. To the audience, to the players, to the staff, we wouldn't be here without you. So thank you all, and we'll see you tomorrow on Summoner's Rip.